Behind every pass, every first down, and every 2-minute drill, and behind every game-winning touchdown is a play. Without a playbook, you have no direction, no plan, and no chance of success. But with the right play, you're in position to win. And it's the same in sales. Without the right plays and the right sequence, your sales teams will drop the ball. But with the right playbook built on the right insights, your sales teams are primed for success. That's exactly what Playbooks from InsideSales.com provides. It's a revolutionary sales platform that gives sales reps the plays they need to close deals. Who to call, when to call them, how to contact them, and how to manage multiple prospects moving through the sales funnel at once. Playbooks is based on decades of sales knowledge and the largest and most varied database of sales interactions in the world. 100 billion interactions and growing. So sales reps are always fed plays based on proven best practices and accurate data, which means they get the best plays at the best times. With all that power at their fingertips, even the rookies will sell like veterans. And the entire team will perform like all-stars. Playbooks will fuel more contacts, more conversations, and more closed deals. Because with Playbooks, you're always in a position to win.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar on introducing predictive playbooks. My name is Thomas Amor, and I'm a Director of Product Marketing here at InsideSales.com. I'm going to walk you through an introduction on why we built Playbooks and what we hope it does for you and your sales organization, and then we'll conclude with a demo followed by some time for questions. So what is Playbooks? We built Playbooks as a way to help guide reps specifically for account-based selling motions. We realized as we talked with our customers and their users and thought about the next generation of tools we were building, that what reps were missing a lot of times was a plan. It wasn't just a simple situation of how can we optimize the productivity of reps. It was also how can we optimize the effectiveness. That is, how can we make reps more effective in their strategies of selling to accounts that requires not just a dial, not just an email, but requires a strategy over a longer period of time perhaps than selling to leads or to selling to accounts that might have a very short sales cycle. What we needed to do is have a product that let reps and let their managers and the larger teams have a game plan that allowed them to prioritize and identify the targets that they were going to prospect, that they were going to hopefully develop into opportunities and close, and that also integrated that with the sort of sales tools InsideSales.com has long pioneered that lets them engage and contact those prospects directly. And through this whole process, we needed to make it so that all of this activity, all of this data, it was synced back to the CRM so that everyone has visibility into what the sales reps are doing and what is working for each team, each rep, and even down to the granular detail that we're typically accustomed to of what lead sources are working, what campaigns are working. In short, we needed a way to combine what is often the subjective nature of strategy and game plans with the more tactical and more visible efforts of sales activities such as dialing, emailing, and so forth. So we came up with Playbooks. Now, Playbooks is a new product of ours, and it brings the power of data and science that we've long offered through our core features in Power Dialer and other products. And it brings it to account-based selling and relationship-based selling. It helps prioritize reps' efforts and target specific accounts and contacts. And it hopefully reduces the effort that the wasted effort reps are spending on prospects and accounts that are not a good fit, but also in just a lot of the mundane tasks of prospecting, of finding accounts, of copying and pasting information, of browsing the web, and trying to figure out even what reps are doing. What we found is that reps are spinning their wheels a lot and spending a lot of time in a state of uncertainty, not knowing exactly what they should be doing. They're all over the web and not just in the CRM. So we tried to build a tool that would follow them wherever they went across the web, that would help them prospect, help them prioritize, and help them engage with their prospects. We've designed Playbooks to work together with one of our other tools, HD Forecast, to address the full sales funnel. We'll talk about HD Forecast in another venue, but I just want to give you visibility into the fact that Playbooks and HD Forecast work together in a partnership that help reps be more efficient across the entire sales funnel. So now we're going to switch to a demo that hopefully gives you insight into what Playbooks is, how it works with the reps, and how it can transform their day to make them more efficient and productive.
Welcome to today's demo for Playbooks, the next generation sales acceleration technology from InsideSales.com. Today I'm going to be demoing Playbooks from the perspective of an account-based selling rep. Playbooks works just as well for reps who are selling to leads, but there's additional complexity that comes with account-based selling, and I'd like to demonstrate that today with Playbooks. I'll also be demoing this from the Salesforce Lightning experience. Playbooks also works just as well with the Classic or Aloha UX. So I'm going to start for my accounts page. As you can see here, I'm working on a view of accounts called priority accounts. And even before we get into the Playbooks product, we've added a little bit of special sauce here called the neural score. The neural score is a column or a field that we add to every account that predicts the likelihood that that account will close. This is based on your own pattern of history, your pattern of close won and close lost deals over the past year or so, but it's also based on the data that we use to enrich your data and also the patterns that we see across our larger data set. This helps the reps know from the very beginning of the day what they should be focusing their time on. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the account at the top of the list because I've sorted this in descending order, and that account is Log Me In. And as I jump into the CRM, as a rep, they have to make a couple of decisions on what they're going to do next, on who they're going to reach out to, what they might say, and how they'll prioritize engaging with this account. Now in a CRM, there's tons of information. You have your past activity with this account, contacts, and often other groups within the company such as marketing or sales support or business intelligence will also have a lot of information relevant to them in the CRM. This is a wealth of information that's vital to being successful with this account, but doesn't always tell the rep what they should do next. This is where Playbooks comes in. I can open up Playbooks on the right because Playbooks is a browser extension. Now, a lot of the heavy lifting that Playbooks does, of course, happens through APIs and on our servers, but the rep interacts with it as a browser extension. And you can see here on the panel on the right that it's also on the Log Me In account. It has some of the same basic information as a CRM, but it's much more focused. So you can see here that it repeats some relevant information about Log Me In, has the neural score, the 87 in the blue circle, but then also prescribes to the rep their next step. It says, yes, make contact ASAP. Now, this is telling the rep what their next best step should be. And when the reps exist in a state of uncertainty, they might have 100, 200 or more accounts. They don't know the exact right person to reach out to. They're not sure really what their highest priorities should be. This helps them reduce that uncertainty and attack their day and their priorities with more confidence and with more effectiveness. So now the rep knows that, yes, they should reach out to this account and they should start working on this account. And we see here that Playbooks has also pulled in the people at Log Me In that are already associated with this account. In this case, we have two people, Amy Appleyard and Eric Loring. Now, for an account, that's not great coverage, only two contacts. So with Playbooks, I can automatically prospect. And here we're demoing a data integration with ZoomInfo, although Playbooks can work with other data providers. And ZoomInfo has served up to me two additional contacts at Log Me In that I can now add to Playbooks. And when I've clicked the Add to Playbooks button, they're also added to my CRM. So now I've added more contacts to my CRM, and now I can start contacting them as well. You'll notice that in this list of people, there's a blue bar below each person's name. And this blue bar says things like VP of Sales or Sales Ops High Touch. These are the plays that I want the rep to run with each contact. Now let me explain for a minute what I mean by plays. At Inside Sales, we don't want reps to think that the end goal is to make a call or send an email. The goal is to close. And to do that, you need a strategic plan of engagement. And each of these blue bars indicates what that plan is going to be. So if I go to Amy Appleyard and hover over the VP of Sales play, it tells me about this play. This is a play targeted to vice presidents of sales, and it includes 3 emails and 4 calls. Now, I will have devised this play together with my sales team, maybe my sales operations team, and I will have built in all the customization ahead of time. For instance, the email templates will be built. There'll be scripts or cue cards for the reps during the calls, and they'll be put in a particular order that I feel has the highest likelihood of converting Amy. And as you can see, there are more than just one play. So Eric Loring goes into the Sales Ops High Touch, and Brittany and Samantha go into Sales Managers plays. Each of these plays has a slightly different structure or cadence to it, and we hope that it optimizes success for each contact. Now, in a typical world, even if I planned all of this out, the sales rep would now have to go and create tasks in the CRM or sticky notes or a million browser tabs or calendar reminders. And we want to save them from that hassle. So we click Assign All, and Playbooks automatically schedules all of those tasks and will guide reps as to what they should do next anytime they're using Playbooks. In this instance, the rep is being guided to call Amy, who was the most influential and most important of the contacts that we added to the account or was already present on the account. You can see at the very top here where it says VP of Sales, which is our play, there's a visualization of what this play looks like. Several emails interspersed with calls. And the first step is a call. And this big green button tells the rep exactly what they need to do. And there's a cue card below here that gives the rep a little bit of insight onto, hey, what you should be talking with Amy about. There's also a button above called Personalize with Insights. So we don't want the reps to be calling blind. We don't want them to be calling cold. So we want to give them a little bit of information directly at their fingertips, if you will, about this account and about this contact. So over here on the Insights panel was just lit out, we show some information about LogMeIn, some information about the account, the size of the company, some competitors that you might already have in your CRM. And then we have some news, and for instance, LogMeIn has some news about a merger, which is a great compelling event that you'd like to incorporate into your pitch. And on the right here, we have personal information about Amy. This is pulled from her public Twitter account and lets us know that Amy is really interested in sales and sales optimization and follows some of the same people that I follow, such as TechCrunch and one of our founders, Ken Krogh. This lets me know that if I'm going to reach out to Amy, I'll be able to speak in the same language she does about sales and sales optimization. Now that I'm ready to call, I can hit the green button and my call will be placed directly through the browser to Amy. If I hover over our predictive icon here, it's telling me exactly why I should call right now. And in this simulation, I'm calling at 8 a.m. for my local time, but it will connect to Amy at the appropriate time in her time zone. And as you can see, we're optimized the chances that she will pick up on the phone. Now, after I've called Amy, I can disposition the call. And so let's say we contacted Amy, and I'll save that. Now you know in the CRM, which is saving this information into Salesforce as past activity, you know what happened, and our algorithms also know what happened, so they can get better at predicting Amy's responses. And I can also add some notes about this call, so the next time I call her, I understand what we talked about or what happened in the previous engagement. After the phone call, the next step would be an email. And if you go down here, you see there's an email template. And I can customize this email to say, hey, Amy, we spoke earlier, and add whatever relevant information you think might help you close the deal. And again, this big green button tells you what you should do next. And we have another little trick up our sleeves called Neural Send. Neural Send does the same thing that I showed you just a minute ago with calling. Neural Send optimizes the email send, so it's most likely that Amy will respond. When the rep hits send, our system will actually queue the email, hold it till it thinks Amy's most likely to respond, and then send it right then. Now, as soon as I've engaged with Amy, there are other contacts on this account that are now important to engage with. You'll see here that at the bottom that this green bar light has now lit up. And that means that's my next step. And so I can go to Brittany Roy, another contact at LogMeIn, And I can see that the action I should perform with Brittany is to call her, and just as I saw with Amy, it predictively projects the time that is most likely for Brittany to respond. And that's why it's telling me to call now. And I see the same set of tools, cue cards, notes, and the personalized with insights pane that I saw with Amy. Now, I may not always have enough contacts and accounts to work. If I'm running low on accounts, in Playbooks, I can go to the companies panel and click on Find More Companies. In this integration, we're using Crunchbase, which is a popular database for information on technology and especially private technology companies. Playbooks is data agnostic and can work with virtually any data provider. But in this scenario, I'll show you how it works with Crunchbase. So I can go here and see several companies. Some of them are very large, and some of them are not as well known. I'll start with one of these companies, Nutanix, which recently went public. So I'm going to open up Nutanix's profile here, and Playbooks is going to scan some of the information available on this page and see if it can predictively score the likelihood that this account will close. And there it is. It pops up with a score of 93, which is very high. So I can save this account to Playbooks, and instead of having to do any copy and paste, the account shows up in Playbooks and now being saved to my CRM. I can click Find More People, which continues the cycle I just showed you for my other account, Log Me In, that lets me prospect and then engage with different accounts. So I can keep this cycle going of reps knowing exactly what to do with new and existing accounts. Finally, you've got to keep your reps motivated. Even if you've given them a plan of attack, if they're not executing it, it's not doing you much good. We believe in gamification in inside sales because it makes the steps the reps need to accomplish in their day repeatable and achievable. Here we have a gamification panel that shows Danielle Wilson's rank compared to her peers and how many points she's accumulated. You as the sales manager, together with your sales team, will decide what are the actions and the points associated with them that let Danielle know how well she's doing any day. It also gives you a sort of at a glance, an overview of the performance of your sales team and your individual reps. So that's Playbooks. We've given you an overview from prospecting to prioritization and ended with motivation and gamification. We believe that Playbooks holds the answer to strategic and predictive account-based selling that can help your reps sell more and sell more.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching our demo and a little bit about our new product Playbooks. I hope it answered some of your questions. Hope it was exciting. We're pretty excited about what we're trying to accomplish here. And I think what we'll do now is, instead of me talking any longer in my own spiel, just open it up to questions. So we're observing now the Q&A interface with our webinar. So please just type in your questions and we'll read out the questions as we answer them so everyone knows what we're talking about. So one of the questions we get here and other places about compatibility with other versions of Salesforce, namely Lightning versus Aloha. Just to reiterate from the demo, the way we've built Playbooks is to be agnostic as to whether you're in Aloha or Lightning. Obviously, Salesforce would prefer everyone to move to Lightning, and most IT departments would prefer everyone stays on Aloha just because the hassle is involved. But we work with either. Our integrations with Salesforce are built on APIs, and as you know, the extension, the UX form factor lives outside of the CRM, so we can work with both. So we have a couple of questions about our predictive scoring algorithms, and I'll go a little bit into the structure of our Neurolytics engine a little bit in answering this. So we have what we think of as a three-pronged approach to predictive analytics. We think of it as data plus science plus applications. So we have data that the data layer consists of both your data from your own company and our anonymized set of interactions that we have from across our customer base. science is predictive algorithms. Both those are the generic set that any scientist might use, plus the ones that we refined over time to address specific sales questions such as time to call, time to email, and so on and so forth. And then finally, we have our applications. And within Playbooks, you saw some of those predictive applications such as time to send and time to call and so forth. And so how do we gauge these? How do we make these come to life? Is you saw that for predicting the likelihood to close of an account, we use a scoring algorithm. It's not a percentage, it's just normalized to a scale of 100. And so what happens with that is it updates every day, and we base it on both your history of opportunities and accounts that have closed won and closed lost, and then we gauge the current account based on the information we have on it. We have another question about neural send. Neural send is what we call the feature that determines the best optimal time to send an email. It's not based on that person's individual contact history with the company. It's based more on matching that person to other profiles we found in your data. So we update it as that person interacts with you. It will update, but it'll update based on her or him matching or just having more data for us to predict. So we have another question about integration with Salesforce from one of our folks who joined late. So this has both synchronous and asynchronous calls to Salesforce. So we integrate with Salesforce and in the future with other CRMs, through APIs. So what we typically try to do is break it up into synchronous and asynchronous calls so that really critical information such as you've created a new account or you've created a new action will be written as soon as possible. And then we like to batch some of the updates so we don't chew up all of your API calls. And so some of the details, for instance, on an email or a phone call might be batched and processed later. But if there's any account or contact creation, we'll take care of that right away. We also have another question about how this integrates with Marketo. So we sit further down in the funnel than marketing automation. We do sales acceleration. What this means is that we will work with anything Marketo has put into your CRM. There are other partnerships we can discuss. We have some, sometimes we do highly customized work with customers where we might work directly with another data source such as Marketo. But typically, if Marketo or you're using Marketo to put their scoring into your Salesforce, we can use that as another data point. And typically, they're addressing different issues. So Marketo lead scoring is for marketing qualification, whereas our scoring is for sales qualification or for close. There's another question here about third-party vendors. So we don't use third-party vendors for our predictive algorithms. We do use third-party vendors in a variety of ways for data. That might be in our big data set, which we do not expose directly to reps. It's used for our predictive algorithms. And that might be data enrichment, everything from stock prices to weather conditions. We also, as you saw in the demo, do expose some of that data to end users through companies like Owler or ZoomInfo. Right now, those are the two we're using, but we could also integrate with data.com or other data providers. All right. Well, thank you so much for attending. I think that's all the questions we had. You should see my Twitter contact information. You can also reach me at thomas.haymore@insidesales.com. But please reach out if you have any more questions, any more interest. We're excited that you guys are excited about Playbooks, and hopefully can interest you and your companies and tell you more as time goes on. Thank you.